Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's year in review episode of Hey Sister. Hey Sister, how you doing?
Hey, sister. Whew, 2019 already coming to an end, December 31st. So much to talk about.
So much to talk about, so little time. So, we're going to take a quick minute here, and I'm dropping some links already in the comment section so you guys can see some of the things that we reference throughout our time this afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you're in, because you might be watching this in replay. I don't know. But wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in, whatever space, place you might be in tonight for this special year in review episode of Hey Sister. Also, if you are watching on a watch party, we welcome you to tonight's episode of Hey Sister. What we really would like you to do so your comments can come up live on the screen is we would love for you to go over to the Hey Sister page and watch live there. That way your comments, they pop up in real time and we can have you as a part of the show. And we know you want to be a part of the show tonight. We know you do. So go on over to Hey Sister right here on Facebook and go to the page and start watching there so your comments can come up on the screen live. But for those of you who might be technologically challenged, because we know if you are out there are, we love you. And we will still toggle back and forth to that watch party just to make sure we can include you because we want you to join the show tonight, right?
For sure, for sure.
All right. Well, tonight it is all about the year in review. And with that, we want to start this evening. We want to get, because when we do hot topics and we have a lot of fun, sometimes when we switch to a more heavy topic, it kind of brings that energy down. So we're going to start on the somber note and we're going to talk about those who have gone on and who we've lost in the year of our Lord 2019. So we want to say rest in power. And there's many, many, many people who have transitioned in the celebrity world, in the world of politics, in the world of sports, in the world of entertainment. We've lost a lot of people, but we've also lost people who are near and dear to us, close, and some more personal losses as well. And so, first, I just want to lift up all of our friends and our family members, cousins, classmates, high school and college classmates who have transitioned in the year of our Lord 2019. And all the family and loved ones that they have left behind who've had a hard time this holiday season. Some of those losses were expected because people reached a certain seasoned age. Some of them came completely out of the blue, unexpected. And one of the things that we've both talked about, sister, and been reminded of a lot this year is that life is too short, it's fleeting in the blink of an eye, and why we need to really live our best life. So, anything you want to say to those who are close to us before we go into some of the list of more notable names?
The only thing that I will add to that is after really thinking about this last week, we were home and there were definitely a lot of ups while we were home, but I think we both experienced the impact of some of the downs. And one of the things that I just want to say is I think we all struggle maybe to understand our mortality and understand this thing called life and then this thing called death, which is an inevitable part of life that I guess I'm trying to understand more about our assignment here on earth. So we are all been given an assignment, and sometimes it takes us longer, I guess, to complete that assignment. I don't usually like to dabble too far into the religious um, realm there, because sometimes that feels empty when you hear the same things over and over again. But I will say that for those who have reached the end of their assignment and for the people that they've left behind, please use that as inspiration and motivation to live your best life.
Absolutely. And that's all that we can do. And the best way in which we can honor those that we love is to live our best life. Um, and in the watch party, one of my good friends, great followers of Hey Sister, Chantel Shackelford is watching. So hey Chantel, thank you for tuning in live tonight. And please get involved in the comments. So some of those notable names who have transitioned this year, that we've kind of bucketed them up into a few buckets. So the first bucket I want to hit on is the Louisiana connection. You all know that we are native Louisianans. We love being from Louisiana. Catch that? And we love going back and experiencing everything that our Southern Louisiana roots and culture have to offer. We revel in it. But this year, you know, Louisiana had some really notable losses. And one of the musician families that is well known, that of the Neville family, Mr. Art Neville, one of the patriarchs of that family, passed away. Miss Cokie Roberts, who everyone knows from being a news anchor on ABC and involved in ABC's politics, especially ABC News Politics. But she has roots in Louisiana. When we visited one of the restaurants while we were there for the holiday, they had re-elect Hale Boggs up on the wall there. And I was like, that was Cokie's dad. So she has Louisiana roots. Miss Leah Chase, who was the inspiration behind the character Tiana from Disney's Princess and the Frog, who was the owner of the Dookie Chase's restaurant in New Orleans. It's just one of famous restaurants, and you definitely should eat there if you are in the city. Dr. John, the eclectic Dr. John, who was also the inspiration for one of the characters you see on the Muppets, the musician, the piano player, and the governor who, was that, I think, like the first and only female governor, and who led the state during one of the most difficult times. And we're going to talk about what was, the decade, but led them through the real difficult time of Hurricane Katrina, and that's Governor Kathleen Blanco. So rest in power to those with the Louisiana connection. We have those that we think about our youth and things that are significant to us in the 90s. So Luke Perry from 90210, John Singleton, who was the director of so many great movies, but definitely iconic movies like Boys in the Hood, which meant so much to us in the 90s, and Bushwick Bill from the Ghetto Boys of Houston. All of those we lost in 2019. And then we have some for the culture, people who have helped shape the culture and shape and move how we move as a people. And they include Diane Carroll, who was a trailblazer in the world of entertainment for Black women, one of the most beautiful women. And we talk about physical beauty, but also a force to be reckoned with, because she was doing things in the entertainment space that Black women were told they could not do long before we had Black Girl Magic, right? Mm-hmm. Long before that was a hashtag. Toni Morrison, who really shared our voices and our experiences in literature and was so unapologetic about owning her space and owning her experiences and being a voice and a champion for those experiences. And she did that in her writing, and she did that in her speaking, and she did it in everything that she did. Um, More in the younger age, Nipsey Hussle, who also was unapologetic about the marathon and the mission and the goal, and some of the moves that we should be making, the power moves we should be making by working collectively. We also lost Elijah Cummings, John Conyers, the actor Christoph St. John. If you grew up watching Young and the Restless, you know all about Neil Winters, and his loss was really tragic this year. But also at the top of 2019, we lost one of those R&B crooners, Mr. James Ingram. And fun fact, many people don't know that he actually was one of the writers for one of Michael Jackson's biggest hits, and that's PYT. So, and if you listen to the song real closely, you might pick up his voice doing some of the background vocals. Just saying. So I know that was a long list, but we've lost a lot of people who have had significant impact on the culture. There's many more to name. I dropped in the comments section a list. And so feel free to go take a look at that list. Sister, anything you want to say about those we want to say rest in power to before we transition to the more fun and foolishness part of tonight's episode?
No, again, I think it just, the list that you provided, unfortunately there were many more, and we are very saddened that they had to go, but we should look at their lives and what they were able to accomplish during their time here on earth, and see how we want to apply that same work ethic and take the good from their lives and the things that they did and accomplished and apply to our own, especially as we move into a new year and a new decade.
Yes, a new year and a new decade. So on my watch party, I see several people out there watching. So hello, thank you for joining us. We're super excited. If you want your comments to come up live on the screen, go over to the Hey Sister page and add your comments there. Otherwise, I won't be able to pull them up on the screen. But right now, we're going to transition to the year in review. So we both have a bottle. Woo, 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 woo. So, all right, sister, here we go.
Okay.
All right, everybody.
Try to do this.
This is a dangerous situation. Woo!
Hold on.
Come on, away from your face. There you go. Yes. All right.
All right. Cheers, sister.
Cheers. So we're going to toast to a new year, 2020. We bringing it in big. Mm-hmm. That tastes pretty good.
Yeah, bubbling Moscato. So,
well, enjoy your bubbling Moscato. I have a little Corbel Champagne here that I am going to enjoy. But we're going to start off tonight with, hey, boo, leave it in 2019. There are some things. Now, see, I'm going to do this as we do this. See, I got to get the hands involved, right? Mm-hmm. There are some things you need to leave in 2019. Shout out to our friend Blair, who has the hashtag leave it in 2019, hashtag leave it in this decade. Boo, there are some things we need to leave in 2019. Number one on my list that I want us all to leave in 2019 is Mr. Kanye West. I'm done. I'm through. Are you through, boo?
I think that I had already left Kanye in 2018 or 2017 or something. So I
Well,
I
see,
don't
he's
think
trying
I
to
know
make it come
officially
back
that,
because
but
he's trying to sneak in on the Christian tip. See, that's what they do. He try to remix and act like he loving the Lord, and it's like, okay, are you making a mockery right now? Stop it.
and he may well love the Lord, but at the end of the day, I'll just say part of what I'm leaving in 2019 is worrying too much about other people and their business. And, I know we're going to always talk about things here on Hey Sister, but, you know, I didn't personally need Kanye to help me come to Jesus. I didn't need that. He was not lost, and I didn't need Kanye to find him. I was not, I didn't have to go to a Sunday service and get some dry, big breakfast pancakes in order to recognize, who my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is. So I didn't need Kanye. I'm sure he's going to continue to produce music. And there are those who it doesn't matter what he says or does, as long as he produces great beats, they're going to continue to work with him. I don't care what they say in public or what have you. He showed up at Diddy's party and, played black for the night and all of that stuff. So played nicely with the other black folks. And he's going to do what he feels like he has to do when he has married into a family of opportunists. And so they got to take up their opportunities.
Well, I listed a few of them here in the chat feature. And if you have something that you want to leave in 2019, y'all let us know. But number one was Kanye West. Number two, my sister said it, being about anybody's business but your own. As the baby said in the video many years ago now on the YouTube, worry about yourself. How about that? Let's leave that worrying about other people's business, their orientation, who they sleeping with or not sleeping with, where they worship or don't worship, how they wear their hair, don't wear their hair. Let's leave that in 2019. Okay. Now we will, as you said, we're going to talk about things on Hey Sister. We're going to have our hot topics. We certainly have opinions. But some of the time, energy, and effort that is expended on other people is not even worth it. So let it go. Let it go. I'm going to drink on that one because y'all know I can't sing.
Well, since we're not worried about other people's business, however, we do need to leave something else or somebody else in 2019. I'm going to add, and again, I think you and I have both left this person many years ago, but for any stragglers, please leave Robert Kelly. Matter of fact, Robert Kelly, Robert Kraft, leave both of them.
We said that we had an episode on that in earlier this year. All the Roberts. Leave them in 2019,
well,
y'all.
Robert Payne. I'm not gonna leave Robert Payne in 2019, but
Robert King. Let's say that. It was Robert King.
Okay. But yes, we're going to leave Robert Sylvester Kelly in 2019, and I don't care how great his songs are. Find yourself another love-making crooner, please.
Do it. One of the other things we said we were going to leave in 2019 is one Mr. Donald Trump. In 2020, there's an election, y'all.
Yes.
I don't care what happens with the impeachment, whether they have a hearing or don't have a hearing in the Senate. What we can do is leave them in this decade and leave them in 2019 and let electing a president who does not have a command of the English language or who cannot give a press conference or make a cogent statement that anybody can understand, who has
doesn't know what the word cogent means.
Let's leave that in 2019. Now, some people would say that's being elite or being elitist. I have always contended that if you could not have passed my high school AP English class with Miss Anne Grenier, then you are not qualified to be president of the United States. How about that? So if you cannot pass the English class, the high school English class, and or a civics course, we don't need to elect you for president, period. I don't care what your name is. So we're going to leave that foolishness in 2019.
Yeah, there was a great discussion on NPR about that yesterday as I was driving to the airport or riding to the airport. And one of the one of the commentators was basically saying we really do need to redefine this whole notion of anybody can be president of the United States. And there's a gentleman who wrote a book, and I'll find his name and drop it in the comments. But you know, that sounds really good to tell our kids and inspire them to do their best. But really, in other words, in a lot of ways, we're doing them a disservice when we say anybody can be president, because we really should be aspiring to people who know more than the average Joe. I'm not saying that you have to have graduated from certain Ivy League schools, and I'm not saying that you have to possess a certain amount of money or what have you. But one of the words that we learned this week that your daughter thought you mispronounced was learned. And I think the person should be learned.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a minimum expectation.
Minimum.
Expectation.
And if you have the minimum, if we can have as a minimum 35 years of age to run, then you should have as a minimum having met certain levels of psychiatric and intellectual competency.
I'm with that. I'm definitely with that. Other thing I want to leave in 2019 is excuses. And when I'm talking about excuses, I'm talking about making excuses for people and their bad behavior, their improper action, and all manners of foolishness. Let's leave that alone. We need to stop justifying foolishness, because the more we justify it, the more of it we get in our lives. And that's what has led us to being in the situation with the previous person we just were talking about, and name by name. We didn't call him 45, but we named him by name. Let's leave that excuses alone. Oh, well, that's not what he really meant. Oh, well, he not that bad. Oh, well, this is what. No, stop making excuses for people and their poor behavior. We need to have more accountability going on in 2020. That's what I'm talking
about. Okay.
All right. Well, okay. You ain't got no comments then. I'm going to keep on rolling it. All manners of blackface.
Yes.
Okay. Can we leave it in we should have left it in a century ago, but since some of y'all just can't, I just put a real pain under my eye. The governor of Virginia, we ain't forgot. We ain't forgot. Some of us ain't forgotten. Now, some of y'all have made excuses for the behavior and you've moved on, but we ain't forgot. No, ma'am. Kim Kardashian, oh, well, she's Armenian. Girl, what? Stop.
And she is Armenian. And she is
right.
I saw her
She's Armenian from the Caucasus Mountains. She's Caucasian, and because Cher also has Armenian roots. Has Cher ever presented? She is Armenian. She also has native roots. Do she present other than as a white woman? No. But well, she has a tan. No, she sprayed that color on because she ain't that brown.
Whether it's a manufactured tan or not, at the end of the day. And this is where I struggle. I saw it this morning on the Real. I don't know if it was a repeat. I was getting my car oil changed. And it's like, I really don't want to talk about her, but obviously she does all the right things. Hey, Miss Avery. She does all the right things so that we can continue talking about her, which is so problematic. But at the end of the day, Kim Kardashian is as stupid as she may come across sometimes. She is not a fool. And so the whole idea of her darkening her skin and this specific wig that she had on that looked nothing like her natural hair, it was purposeful. And yes, perhaps you were paying homage to old glamour Hollywood, but to me, since Beyonce became the queen bee, she's been trying to ride that coattail, and that's all I see is copycat, copycat. So, and a perpetual desire to stay relevant. And she does it. She gets us. She's just like her husband. They suck us in, and we end up talking about them. And I just kind of want them to all go.
I'm gonna leave them in 2019. We're gonna leave that whole client and related to that client, all manners of reality show foolishness. Where all my comments go? I've been amening for 10 minutes. All right, Miss Kimberly Wilson, we see you. Thank you.
She's on my page. She's on my watch party. So I see her, yes, on Kanye West. I know that's right. And she's laughing, but she's on my watch party. That's why.
Okay. All right. Now I see Lena popped in the conversation here. She has lies, blackface. Those are things. Yes, let's leave them. Leave them. Another thing, all manners of reality show foolishness. And what I was listening to Karen Hunter's show, obviously they've taped it, but it's applicable to the conversation, really talking about just leaving all these things that don't build us up or lift us up as a community in any way, shape, or form. And I'm talking about as women. I'm talking about as people of color. I'm talking about as people who are of positive mind, growth mindset, moving forward. If it does not help that in any way, shape, or form, then we need to leave it. And reality TV, a lot of the foolishness we see that we're being fed, when we go to high schools and go to elementary schools and go visit these college campuses, we are seeing a manifestation of the foolishness in some of the behavior we see in children. And we cannot say, we can no longer, so this goes back to excuses. We can no longer say that, oh, I don't know why they act that way. Do you see what they being fed every day in terms of TV, music, entertainment, even the commercials? Come on, man. Let's leave all manners of foolishness that don't build us and lift us up. Let's leave it in 2019. Now, over on my watch party, I got a couple comments. One of our good friends, Jennifer White, she said, number one thing she's leaving in 2019 is fear.
Oh, that's great.
We're going to leave that fear behind. Hey, we got to move boldly and bravely in the new decade. And the second thing she said, now this is going to be a preaching moment for you. We might have to take a sip of the champagne on this one. Putting others' happiness before mine.
Cheers.
Cheers. Got to be more careful. That's what I say. Anybody else want to share? What are you leaving in 2019? What do you want to leave behind and we're not taking it into this decade?
Well, I have to say, I saw this. I think Rosalind posted it, but this gentleman, his name is Terry. I'm sorry, Terry, if you out there. I don't know who you are. I know you went to Texas Southern, and we have a few mutual friends. But he wrote this post, and I don't want to read it all, but it spoke to my spirit that I had to save it in my phone so I can
copy the link and share it in the comments.
I will, but I'm gonna read just a few pieces. He said, because every year, like a clown, I give folks the benefit of the doubt, and somehow they run amok, sowing seeds of discord in my fields of peace. Here are the 28 key takeaways from 2019. Hopefully my experiences and aha moments will bless you and save you some time. To those of you who were great teachers, I'm appreciative of our experience and time shared. May God continue to keep you and bless you in your coming and in your going. Emphasis on in your going. And his first comment was, if it's not a definite yes, it's a no, my therapist. And I'm going to hit number 3. He said, God told me it is not the promise that makes you a man. It is the process. If you miss the process, giving you the promise will not help you, because the process makes you able to bear the weight of the promise. And he had just a lot of them, including one of our favorite Blair-isms. You can do all things through Christ except play with me. He and Blair are actually friends. This I know to be true. Maturity allows you to forgive people who aren't sorry. So there were a lot of wonderful comments that that really helped me, and I said I gotta save this. The last one, because 2020, as we know, is the year of vision. Number 13, he said a lot of stuff broke my heart, but fixed my vision. So
Hey, that's why I got these glasses on, because when I take them off, I can't see y'all. Oh, Lena Morris is typing up a storm here. She got some things you want to leave behind. Let me share it with the people. One, leaving toxic situations. We're addressing or severing ties. Hey, we either gonna deal with it or we ain't. It's only one way or the other. And it's so interesting. I had a coaching conversation today with one of my coaching clients, and she talked about passive aggressive behavior in the workplace and how she's having to deal with that, and how she's like, I'm not doing it. And I'm either going to address it. We're going to have this conversation, but this is going to stop. And that's what we definitely have to do. Another one Lena shared here is leaving second chances. If you show me who you are, I'll take it. So in the words of our beloved sister, oh my gosh, I know why the cage bird sings. Her name just left my head.
Maya Angelou.
Maya, Dr. Maya. Someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time, because it always comes back. Now, there are people who make mistakes, but a mistake made more than once is a choice. It's no longer a mistake. I'm going to say that again. If y'all make a mistake more than one time, it's not a mistake. It's a choice. They choosing that behavior. And sometimes that means they choosing that and they not choosing you, baby. You better leave it behind. Another one, she said, it makes me exhausted. Bye, Felicia. We're going to leave bye, Felicia. We got to find somebody else to say bye to in 2019, because Felicia should be gone. Yeah. She gone. Where's she at, Felicia? Kim Wilson says, leaving comparison behind. Woo, woo, woo. Comparison creates confusion, people. It's the theft of joy. Do you, no matter what they do, your journey is yours. Yes, own it, embrace it. The good, the bad, the ugly of it. And you will find so much more happiness, because what happens is when we start comparing, that's when we get confused and then that's when that ugly thing called doubt creeps in. We don't have that. And leaving, doubting my intuition. Love it. Oh, that's fantastic. Anybody on your watch party got anything to say there, sister?
Let me see. Nope, doesn't look like it, but a few folks have joined. So hello to everybody who joined. Of course, Lois Charles Hill, Charles Brown, Mika Gonzalez, and we had Aleka Pike, and earlier our good friend to the show, Mr. Cam Bilbrook. So hey y'all, and come on over to the Hey Sister page if you want us to put your comments on the screen.
Yes, please do. All right, so let's talk about some of our memories of this decade. So not only are we ending the year, we're actually ending the decade. Now, some of us remember when we were partying like it was 1999, right? We were transitioning into a new decade and into a new millennium. And it's like, oh my gosh.
Y2K, we all thought the world was going to end.
But I'm like, oh my gosh. People who was born in 2000 about to be 20 years old. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Lord.
Yeah, they're on the verge of graduating from college and entering the workforce.
You see how my face twisting up like,
I mean, it's just a lot of generations in the workforce right now. That's what's amazing.
So that is huge. And so one of my greatest, fondest memory of this decade is when we took our family trip to Hawaii. So shout out to our cousins who renewed their vows and had all of these tag-alongs in the family. And we had a wonderful time. It's a beautiful thing to be in the ocean with your family. You really feel connected to the earth, to the spirit. We really felt connected to the power that is greater than us. as we were there together and fellowshipping. So that's one of my fondest memories of this decade. Another fond memory of this decade, I turned 40, y'all.
So did I.
It's hard to believe when you see all this, this fresh face still glowing and growing. Hey. But yes, we both turned 40 this decade. And it's like, damn, I'm on the downside to 50 now, y'all. What? So this next decade is gonna be fire. Yeah. So here, cheers to 40.
Cheers to
40.
The fourth.
I'm gonna keep drinking. The fourth decade is a decade to remember. What are some of your fondest memories of this decade?
Well, it's funny you asked because I had to go ahead and open my pictures because I'm like, I cannot remember everything from 2010. I can barely remember everything from 2019. So just a few things that happened in this last decade. Let's see. You and I definitely attended a lot of Alpha Kappa Alpha functions together. We had, let's see here. I saw Italy. My trip to Italy was in 2010. I believe our trip to Greece was 2012. Yes. So both of those things happened this decade. I believe, let me see. I got to look back at the pictures, girl, because I can't remember. But if I recall correctly, yeah, our last time seeing Prince, 2014 at the Essence Festival, was also this decade. And I bought a house in this decade. Well, this year. So I don't know if we're doing memories of this year or just what have you. And now I picked up some additional jewelry this year. So,
well, do we have an announcement to make, sister? What you say now? You better show it again, girl. The people didn't see that. That you
my nails are done. So I said I picked up some additional.
Ain't nobody looking at the nails. They looking at the ring, girl. Show us the ring. Chrissy got engaged. Woo!
Yeah. For 47 days. That's not. But yeah, so we have some great things that we can look back on. And I think, one of our
I refilled my glass. You haven't, but I
have not. Just get a little bit more. And then I think back to our the Christmas that we had at your house a few years ago, where we had family and friends, and we've had a lot of Thanksgivings, a lot of Christmases, a lot of things at your home where we've had people who maybe were friends and now they're family. Just this morning, Kimberly, I didn't just leave you out of any major thing. So yeah, we had a lot of things that have happened and a lot of friends who have become more like family to us through this decade. And I moved to yet another state. So it's a whole lot of stuff that has happened this decade.
Yes, we have a lot of memories this decade. So we have some congratulations. We want you guys to share your memories as the congratulations come in. So we got a congratulations from Lena. We got a what from Kim Wilson. Another congratulations. So we have both congratulatory messages that have come in. And as well as what are some of the memories you have from 2019 or this whole decade? So one of those was reconnected with childhood BFF and he became my husband.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
BFF from the childhood.
Yes. So also was homeless in this decade.
Wow.
That's powerful because Thank you for sharing and having the vulnerability to share that. Miss Avery say congratulations.
Miss Avery. And thank you for making our trip to New Orleans very special.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So if you have some things memories that you'd like to share from this decade, please drop them in the comment section. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what some of your memories are and the things that you are eternally grateful for as we go on. Oh, I met two beautiful sisters to join my family. Yay! Oh, let's see. All right. So memories of this decade. Drop them in the comment section, and we're gonna share those at the end. But we're gonna transition now to talk about 2020, the year of vision.
Yeah.
It's the year of vision. I mean, it served up to us so well. Now, if we think back a century ago to the 1920s, and when you study history about the 1920s, it was the start of the Great Depression. You know, having coming off a world war, going into the Great Depression, and it was a very tumultuous time. And one of the things, since hindsight is 2020, as they say. So as we look back on this past year, this past decade, over the course of history, we can make different choices today because we have the benefit of clear vision and we have the benefit of hindsight. So what are some of the things we're going to do in 2020 to prevent those tragedies, calamities, and to offset anything that could happen in the geopolitical sphere that can impact us? So what are some of the things we're going to do? Well, one thing we said we're going to do is we're going to invest.
Yes.
We are going to invest in one another and in each other's businesses. So one of the things that we did with Hey Sister, if you're not following us on Instagram, you can go back and look at it. But we did a Cheerful Giver giveaway, and we spotlighted and we featured Black-owned, women-owned, even a child-owned small business. 2 children-owned small businesses, right? We need to invest in each other and in our businesses. If we believe that Wakanda can be a reality, because clearly the Trump administration thought that Wakanda was a real country.
Yeah.
They had a whole, and if y'all didn't read that story, I'll drop it in the comments later, but they had a whole agreement with, a trading about their trade relations with Wakanda. Anyway, but since they believe Wakanda is real, we need to make Wakanda real. And we do that by investing. Anything you want to say about that, sister? And if you want to shout out with some of our businesses.
Yeah, so we do that by investing in ourselves. We do that by investing in businesses that are owned by people who not only look like us, but who also support us. One of the, I'll give just two quick examples. Well, 3, because we have Lena on. Lena was one of our entrepreneurs. She's the entreprenista who helped in our Cheerful Giver giveaway. Several sorors of ours, but my line sister Tamika for Brown Baby Designs, and the Black Coffee Company. They went above and beyond every day to repost our giveaway, and so and all of the businesses were great, and many of them were very surprised to even be featured. But it shows that we say that we want to support each other and we believe in each other. Then that requires investing those 3 T's: time, talent, and treasure. And that treasure part sometimes seems to be what we find hardest to let go of. And so I would say support businesses that support us. Invest back in our communities. Again, we were at home. We got to spend some time in Treme area, specifically in New Orleans. And, all I could think about was how the Claiborne overpass completely changed the complexion, if you will, of the entire neighborhood there. But that was something that happened. But it doesn't have to be something that happens to us forever. And so for those of us who do have the means, let's go back into those areas. We get very angry about gentrification as an example, but we're allowed to gentrify our own communities. Like, we're allowed to go back into those communities and invest in the property and build them up. And so that's something that I really want to do more of in 2020. And then in terms of investing in each other, investing in ourselves, investing in businesses. And the most important thing for me in this to start 2020 is to invest in our health, because our health is our wealth. There are just so many young people that I have seen, witnessed, heard of who have passed away over the last several months. But I mean, in their 40s, dying of cancer and massive heart attacks and brain aneurysms and strokes. And that is not how this is supposed to be. I know we are very saddened when we lose people who are older to these kind of diseases. But when you lose somebody who hasn't even reached the age of 40 or 45, that tells us something is wrong with what we're doing. So we have to definitely invest in our health.
Yes. Our health is definitely truly our wealth. Because without health, and I shared this with one of my clients, health is the foundation. If you don't have that physical health, you can't really build nothing else, because you don't have the mental capability or capacity. You don't have the energy. You don't have all what is required to build anything else if that physical health is not in line. So investing in our physical health, it's not a nice to do, and it shouldn't just be no resolution. It should be the standard. So I had a conversation with my really good friend, my college roommate. I attended her father's funeral, and her father was of a good age, right? So he lived to 84. What a blessing to have lived 84 years. But one of the things that she said to me was that, it's going to be a new normal for me. I'm trying to figure out what my new normal is going to be in this world without my mother and my father. Because her mother transitioned in 2015, and now it's 4 years later, her father's transition. What is my new normal going to look like? And that, when it comes to our health, we need to create a new normal. Let's stop making resolutions and let's create some new normals, and let's just do some things differently.
And some of the other physical health, but mental health, because I know that that's something that, we had some heavy conversations at home.
But if your physical health is falling, you can't even focus on your mental health, because your brain literally needs good oxygen. It needs good nutrition. It needs rest for your mental. Because if you take away sleep, and if you take away water deprivation, if you're dehydrated, you can start to lose your mind just by not taking care of your physical health. Try going without sleep for a few days and see what happened to your brain.
Right.
I mean, the physical health is the foundation. You got to do it. And in terms of investing that's one of the key investments we can make in ourselves and in our businesses. You talked about time, talent, and treasure. It doesn't require anything for you to like, share, comment on a post. If your friend has a business and you're not following them on social media, that's the very least you can do, and that won't require a whole lot of you. And you can like, comment, and share their posts. That goes a long way. You can make small investments. Everybody, when we did our Cheerful Giver giveaway, it was a $25 max, right? For a small business, for Amazon, $25 don't mean that. $25 is less than a penny. for Amazon. But $25 for a small business is just as is like $1,000. That $25 goes a long way. So it doesn't have to be a lot when it comes to your treasure. Other things we want to do in 2020, because we talked about these sudden losses, we need to get our affairs in order. Now, I posted something about this on Facebook. We started having these conversations with our parents. But it's not just for our parents, it's for us too. Because we've seen people 38, 40, 45, heart attacks, embolisms, strokes, major losses at young ages. And that leaves the family in a tumultuous situation. So we have the vision now. We know what happens. We can do something about that. We don't have to leave our families in that same type of tumultuous or chaotic situation. So get your documents in order, people. Get your documents in order. Get your documents in order.
And we can drop some links, because we did find a few. We have to drop some links in about some documents that you need to have immediately, like your living will, your healthcare directive, your will, your power of attorney, those type of things. And listen, I know, because again, we had this conversation with our parents and we hear but we don't have anything, or I don't have anything. We all have something, and you would be surprised how in depth sometimes that little thing that you've taken for granted, it can lead to massive arguments and infighting and a lot of like tumult. So you don't want to leave your children, your family members in tumultuous situations. So just, get the affairs in order. Listen, nobody wants to have these conversations. Nobody wants to think about the end, but it's better to be prepared and not need them than to need them and not be prepared. And, as we were talking, even with some young people, we have, friends who've lost their children in this year. And you don't think 17, 18, 19, 30, you don't think about those type of documents for them, but we should start as soon as possible. And that's just the sad reality, especially when we live in a country that I would like us to leave gun violence and shooting people in public places in this decade as well.
Can we please?
So, but when things like that happen, that means we have to all be just a little bit more prepared. And like you said, if 2020 is the year of vision, we know. And so when you know better, you do better.
Absolutely. We're gonna cheers on that one. When we know better, we do better.
And we're gonna start drinking this sweet juice after today.
Listen, I already read my email. She posted it on LinkedIn. I shared it. My doctor, our favorite doctor, Dr. Larissa, she's a friend to the show. She talked about how all drinking that good red wine, how you need, it's good red wine, but your body, you need to detox. After the red wine, the sugary foods and all that, all the manners of goodness that we've had over the last 2 weeks. And I've enjoyed my goodness over the last 2 weeks, but I'm about lifestyle. So 80% of the time I do real good. I'm going to give myself that 20% to enjoy.
Well, I can honestly say that I don't do good 80% of the time, because I have allowed myself to be way too stressed out in this year. But that is something that I am actively changing starting in the morning.
Amen. We gonna start tonight. We ain't gonna start in the morning. We starting right now, girl. We gonna let that straight.
The devil's juice right now.
Well, we say the devil's juice. Jesus turned water into wine.
He did not turn it into bubbly Moscato, though.
We don't know what kind of wine it was. Hush. Anyway, so getting our affairs in order. This is another thing I want us to do, because we have the year vision, is expecting other people to teach our children. So I'm going to say this because the school curriculums are jacked. So you all know the New York Times magazine, they did an issue on something called the 1619 Project. You can go to the Smithsonian. They have a whole curriculum on the 1619 Project. When the textbooks have been rewritten to say that migrant workers came over from Africa. When we have people like one we talked about that we leaving in Mr. West, who we leaving in 2019, who said that slavery was a choice. When all manner of misinformation is abundant on this platform we on right now, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg don't want to do nothing about it because it happens to affect the profit margin. Because I'm going to take ad money for things that I know are lies. We need to teach our own children. They need to know their history. They need to know the truth. Yes, because the almanac came out again. The almanac, the big almanac. I have to find a link for that. It came out again. Go find it. We need to get back to a world of facts and not alternative ones. So we cannot expect other people to teach our children, and we cannot expect other people to teach us. So another thing we need to get back to doing is reading more. Reading is fundamental. And I'm not talking about the clickbait articles on social media. Those are good and have from time to time. However, check your sources. Know what information you're reading and what you're taking in. And if you want to come for me on any of these social media platforms, what you need to understand is that I do read and I get my facts straight. Because I've had a few that have tried to test.
Well, one of the things that I, am committed to doing,
leave that in 2019. Coming to me without no facts.
Well, I think we should. So personally, I'm going to take myself a little pause to the cause from social media because, the old adage is you are what you eat. And when you eat something, you consume it. And everything that we consume, like you were talking about earlier about our children, well, that goes for all of us, whether we consume it in media, in music, what we read, what have you, what we see on television, social media. As we're consuming all of these things, they overwhelm us in a lot of ways. And so, number one, we need to all take a digital break and, step away from these things that are negatively impacting us. One thing that Rob has told me is you have to protect your energy. And I have not always done a very good job of doing that. And part of protecting that energy is blocking out things that do not, they don't feed me and properly feed me. And so, as you were saying, for people coming for you, especially with misinformation, at some point we just have to block out ignorance, and we cannot continue. I'm all for a teachable moment, absolutely. But then there are some people that we know don't want to be taught. Ignorance is bliss for a lot of people. And I think it's going to be better for all of us who accept that. And I know that is my struggle, accepting that some people really enjoy being in that space of not knowing, of being ignorant, of not educating themselves. Because the one thing our daddy has always taught us is you cannot rationalize with an irrational person. And so as long as they stay in that space of ignorance, anything you say is not going to work. No matter of facts are going to work for them, because that's not what they don't operate on facts. They operate on emotion and all these other things. So definitely, as we move into 2020, let's all do a better job of picking our battles, taking ourselves some digital breaks, and figuring out who and what we want to give our energy to, and who and what we need to protect our energy from.
Absolutely. And we should detox regularly. And that goes for our physical health as well as digital, mental, emotional. We need to do detoxes on a regular basis because detoxing is about removing the toxic overload because we live in a toxic environment, right? And so you want to remove the toxic overload. And that also includes the digital overload as well. And so there's some good healthy habits we can have there. So those were some of the things on that what we want to do in 2020. Anything you all want to do in 2020, we would love to hear from you. Drop it in the comments. Our time is getting short here, so we're going to get ready to wrap up. I did in the comment section leave the article of why you need to make a when I die file before it's too late. It has some basic information there. If you want more information on that, you can go. I think AARP has a guide for having those types of conversations with your loved ones. And there's some other resources out there. So hit us up if you want more of those resources. Hit us up in the comments or hit us up in the messaging function. So this has been our quick year in review. We hope that you have enjoyed what we've had to say this evening. We came to you earlier than our normal time because we know that everybody's getting ready to go out into the revelry and the festivity of what is New Year's Eve celebration. So we thank you for watching. We want you to continue to like, follow, and share what we have to offer on Hey Sister. One of the things we're going to try to commit to, not try, we ain't going to do, because said there is no try. We have to transition all of these videos over to our YouTube page so they can live there. And we are going to start actually pushing more of our content through the YouTube channel. So stay tuned for new and wonderful things as we continue to grow Hey Sister. And thank you for being a part of our growth so far. With that, I'm signing off. Sister.
Well, the last thing I want to say before you sign us off is again, yes, thank you all for being a part of our village. You know, we have a small, steady following, and we really appreciate those who come back week after week. We ask you to continue to share and let others know about it. And if there are people or topics that you want to discuss, if you yourself have a small business, or like our good friend Kimberly Wilson, I know she has a dream foundation, DAD, in honor of her father. If there are things you want to do, things you want to talk about, people you want to see, please let us know, because our plan in 2020 is to grow this platform. And with those of you who have been riding with us, we want to bring you along for the ride.
That's right. So with that being said, Happy New Year's, everyone.
Cheers. Happy New Year. Be blessed.